You know that feeling when everyone's posting about Scandinavia, but Denmark somehow gets skipped for Norway's fjords or Sweden's Stockholm? Yeah, we're fixing that today. If you've landed on Passport Unfolded, you know we're not here to give you the same recycled travel advice. We're talking about the real Denmark, the one beyond the Little Mermaid statue, and those obligatory NYHAVN canal photos. We're diving into places that'll make you rethink this tiny kingdom, from windswept beaches to islands that feel like they're from another century. So hit that like button and subscribe, because we've got underrated European destinations coming your way that don't make it onto the Instagram algorithm. Let's start with Copenhagen because most people do NYHAVN and TIVOLI wrong. NYHAVN is those colorful townhouses lining the canal that everyone photographs. And yes, it's beautiful. But sitting at tourist trap restaurants here is a mistake. Grab takeaway from a bodega, sit on the canal edge with locals, and people watch without paying 15 euros for a beer. The magic happens early morning before 8 when light hits those facades and you have the place to yourself. Tivoli Gardens is the world's second oldest amusement park from 1843, and it's not just for kids. The gardens at night lit with thousands of lights create this fairy tale atmosphere that's genuinely romantic. Visit during Halloween or Christmas when they transform the entire park. Real Copenhagen is neighborhoods like Nørrebro with immigrant-run shawarma spots and vintage shops, or Vesterbro's coffee culture at Coffee Collective. Rent a bike like every Dane and understand why this city ranks happiest in the world. Have you ever biked through a capital city? Drop your answer below. Christiansborg sits on tiny Slotsholmen Island, housing all three branches of Danish government, the only building worldwide doing this. The current palace is the fourth version after fires destroyed previous ones, and you can tour first castle ruins in the basement, seeing medieval Copenhagen underneath the modern city. Royal reception rooms are over-the-top opulent with massive tapestries depicting Danish history that took 12 years to weave. But here's what tourists miss. Climb the tower for free panoramic views over Copenhagen's copper-green rooftops and canals. Less crowded than the round tower everyone queues for. The palace chapel with white and gold interior is stunning during services or concerts. Royal Kitchen displays actual kitchens used for state dinners, showing behind scenes of royal entertaining. Visit midweek avoiding weekend crowds, combined with walking to CHRISTIANSBORG neighborhood with canal houses and alternative Freetown Christiania community. Would you explore an alternative community? Let me know in the comments. KRONBORG Castle in Helsingør is the Hamlet Castle. Yes, Shakespeare's Hamlet was set here even though he never visited Denmark. This UNESCO site sits where Denmark nearly touches Sweden across Øresund Strait. And for centuries, Denmark collected tolls from every passing ship, funding this Renaissance masterpiece. Castle interior shows different periods including royal chambers and the impressive ballroom stretching 62 meters long. But real magic is the casemates, underground passages where soldiers lived, creating this maze of dark chambers feeling genuinely medieval. There's a legend that Viking chief Holger Danske sleeps in casemates and will awaken if Denmark faces mortal danger. And there's actually a statue of him down there. Castle hosts summer performances including outdoor Hamlet productions, atmospheric as hell. Visit during shoulder season when tour groups thin, combined with exploring HELSINGØR town, which has genuine charm beyond the castle. Walk ramparts for views across to Sweden. You're literally seeing another country from here. Faroe Islands are technically Denmark, but feel like another world. 18 volcanic islands in North Atlantic between Iceland and Norway, where sheep outnumber people and landscape is so dramatic it doesn't look real. Islands connect by tunnels and bridges, creating road trips through terrain of vertical cliffs, grass-roofed villages, and weather changing every 15 minutes. Mulafossur waterfall drops directly into ocean at Gassadalur village, creating one of most photographed Faroe scenes. But getting there early before tour buses is essential. Saxon village with grass-roofed church and lagoon looks like Middle Earth. Hiking surrounding mountains gives views making you question why anyone goes anywhere else. Tórshavn capital is world's smallest with 13,000 people. But Old Town Tinganes with black tar houses and narrow lanes has been political center since Viking times. Bird cliffs at Vestmanna or Mykines are staggering. Millions of seabirds, including puffins, nest here, and boat tours underneath show you the scale. Weather is brutal. Bring serious rain gear and embrace getting soaked. Greenland is Denmark's autonomous territory and the world's largest island. And if you think Faroe Islands felt remote, Greenland is another level entirely. This is a land of ice sheets, glaciers, icebergs, and indigenous Inuit culture that's survived Arctic conditions for millennia. Ilulissat on west coast is where you see Ice Fjord, UNESCO site, where Cermek Kujalek glacier calves massive icebergs into Disco Bay, creating surreal seascape of floating ice mountains. You can take boat tours weaving between icebergs or hike coastal trails for elevated views showing the sheer scale. Nuuk is capital and largest city with 18,000 people, mixing Inuit traditions with Scandinavian influence in ways that create unique cultural identity. National Museum shows Greenlandic history, including the famous Chilakitsoq mummies. Summer brings midnight sun and hiking opportunities across tundra blooming with wildflowers, while winter offers northern lights dancing across dark skies and dog sledding across frozen landscapes. Getting here requires flights from Copenhagen or Reykjavik, and it's expensive, but experiencing this Arctic wilderness feels genuinely life-changing. Would you brave the Arctic? Tell me in the comments. Frederiksborg Castle in Hillerød is Denmark's grandest Renaissance castle, built by King Christian IV in early 1600s and now housing Museum of National History. The castle sits on 3 small islands in Castle Lake, creating this fairy tale reflection that's absurdly photogenic, especially in autumn when surrounding beech forests turn golden. Interior rooms are over-the-top Danish Baroque with painted ceilings, ornate furniture, and portraits spanning 500 years of Danish history. Great Hall with its painted ceiling and massive fireplace was where kings were crowned and remains stunning even after fire destroyed parts in 1859. chapel escaped the fire and retains original 1600s interior with gilded organ and intricate woodwork. Castle gardens are formal Baroque style with geometric patterns and fountains, though they close in winter. Combine castle visit with exploring Hillerød town and nearby Esrum Lake for hiking or cycling. Train from Copenhagen takes 40 minutes, making this easy day trip. Visit weekday mornings avoiding tour bus crowds and give yourself 2 hours exploring castle and gardens properly. The cafe serves traditional Danish pastries if you need energy boost. SKAGEN sits at Denmark's northern tip where North Sea and Baltic Sea meet, creating this unique light phenomenon that attracted artists in the late 1800s and still draws photographers today. The town has yellow houses with red-tiled roofs and white picket fences, creating picture-perfect Danish coastal aesthetic. GREENLAND is the actual northern tip where you can stand with 1 foot in each sea. Yes, it's touristy, but standing at that geographical point where waters meet is genuinely cool. Buried Church, or Tilsandede Kirke, is this church the sand dunes swallowed in 1795 with only the tower visible, creating eerie reminder of nature's power. SKAGEN Museum displays works by the SKAGEN painters who captured the unique northern light, and if you're into art history, this is essential. The harbor still functions as working fishing port, and restaurants here serve incredibly fresh seafood. Try SKAGEN's signature dish, shrimp on white bread with mayo and lemon. RUBJERG Mile is massive migrating sand dune, moving about 15 meters yearly, creating Sahara-like landscape incongruous in Denmark. Visit summer for warmest weather or autumn for dramatic storms and fewer tourists. Who wants to stand between 2 seas? Bornholm is this Danish island in Baltic Sea closer to Sweden than Denmark, and it feels like Denmark's best-kept secret. Rocky coastlines, medieval round churches, smokehouse restaurants, and crafts scene that's exploded recently. Hammershus Castle ruins are Northern Europe's largest medieval fortification, perched on cliff overlooking Baltic, creating dramatic silhouette especially at sunset. The island has 4 unique round churches built in 1100s, serving as both worship spaces and defensive fortresses. Østerlars Church is largest and best preserved. Gudhjem is postcard-perfect fishing village with half-timbered houses cascading down to harbor, famous for smoked herring served at smokehouses like Gudhjem Røgeri. Dueodde Beach on southern tip has white sand so fine it was once used in hourglasses, with long, shallow waters perfect for swimming. Christiansø is tiny fortified island off Bornholm coast, accessible by ferry, feeling like stepping back centuries with preserved naval fortress and handful of permanent residents. Bornholm's craft scene includes glassblowing, ceramics, and chocolate making with studios open for visits. Rent a bike. Island is perfect cycling size with routes connecting all major sites. Ferry from Copenhagen takes 7 hours overnight, making for easy transport. RUBJERG KNUDE is this lighthouse on Denmark's northwest coast that's been slowly consumed by migrating sand dunes, creating one of Denmark's most dramatic and photographed landscapes. The lighthouse was built in 1900, but sand accumulation and coastal erosion forced its closure in 1968, and by 2019 it stood just 6 meters from cliff edge. Engineers actually moved the entire lighthouse 70 meters inland in 2019, saving it from falling into sea. But the Old Keeper's buildings have been sacrificed to erosion, creating haunting ruins being swallowed by dunes. Climbing the dunes gives you massive North Sea views and sense of nature's unstoppable force. The sand here is constantly shifting. Winds can knock you sideways and the landscape looks different, every visit making it feel alive and unpredictable. Visit during golden hour when light turns sand golden and long shadows create dramatic texture. The nearby bunkers from Bjaujausar German occupation are slowly being revealed and covered by moving sand, adding to the post-apocalyptic vibe. Combine with visiting LØKKEN nearby for lunch and more traditional beach town atmosphere. This is Denmark at its most wild and untamed. RIBE is Denmark's oldest town, founded in early 700s, and walking these cobbled streets feels like time travel with medieval buildings leaning at improbable angles and history seeping from every corner. RIBE Cathedral dominates the skyline, built from 1150 onwards with Romanesque and Gothic elements mixing. You can climb Cathedral Tower for views across the marshlands to ODENSE, UNESCO site, and one of the world's most important wetlands for migratory birds. The Old Town has preserved half-timbered houses, many now housing shops, cafes, and small museums, keeping traditional trades alive. Night Watchman still walks the streets during summer singing traditional songs at each corner, like he has since medieval times. Yes, it's touristy, but it's also authentically RIBE. ODENSE Center just outside town has exhibitions about the unique tidal ecosystem and offers seal safaris where you ride tractor-pulled wagons across mudflats to see seals at low tide. Bizarre, but memorable. RIBE Vikinge Center is living history museum, recreating Viking Age marketplace with costumed interpreters demonstrating daily life and crafts. Visit during RIBE Viking Market in early May, when entire town transforms into Viking celebration. Stay overnight, because RIBE after day trippers leave is magical. AARHUS is Denmark's second city, often overlooked for Copenhagen, but it's got this vibrant student energy, cutting-edge architecture, and cultural scene that makes it worth multiple days. AARHUS Art Museum is impossible to miss. Massive red brick building topped with Your Rainbow Panorama, this circular glass walkway by Olafur Eliasson, where you walk through spectrum of colors with city views through colored glass. The museum's collection spans 300 years with strong contemporary focus, and the giant boy sculpture outside has become city icon. Den Gamle By is open-air museum recreating Danish town life through centuries with 75 historical buildings relocated here, and staff in period costume demonstrating traditional crafts and daily life. Less cheesy than it sounds, actually fascinating. Latin Quarter has narrow cobbled streets lined with independent boutiques, cafes and galleries perfect for wandering. AARHUS Street Food and former bus depot has vendors serving everything from tacos to ramen in industrial chic space. Mosgard Museum south of city has stunning architecture built into hillside with exhibitions on Danish history and culture, including the famous Grauballe Mon bog body from 290 BCE. AARHUS is compact and bikeable, rent wheels and explore like locals. Odense is Hans Christian Andersen's birthplace, and while the town plays up its fairy tale connection, there's substance beyond the marketing. H.C. Andersen's Hus is newly renovated museum, telling Andersen's story through immersive installations that work for adults, not just kids. His life was genuinely interesting beyond the fairy tales. The Old Town Quarter, where Andersen grew up, preserves low, colorful houses and narrow lanes from 1800s, creating atmospheric backdrop. But Odense is also Funen's capital with thriving food scene. Restaurant Substance has Michelin star serving new Nordic cuisine with Funen ingredients. Brance's cultural complex and former textile factory now housing contemporary art galleries, design museum, and photography center, showing Odense has moved beyond just trading on Andersen nostalgia. Odense River runs through city with waterside paths perfect for walking or cycling. Funen Village Open Air Museum shows rural Danish life from 1700s, 1800s with historical buildings and heritage animals. Egeskov Castle, half-hour south, is one of Europe's best-preserved Renaissance water castles with maze gardens and vintage car museum, appealing even if you think castles are boring. Visit during summer when city hosts outdoor theater performances and parks. Train connections make Odense easy base for exploring Funen Island. Jutland is Denmark's mainland peninsula, and most international visitors skip it entirely, which is exactly why it's worth exploring. This is where you find Denmark's most dramatic nature and authentic small-town life. The west coast along North Sea is all windswept beaches, dramatic dunes, and fishing villages that haven't been Instagrammed to death yet. Thy National Park in Northwest preserves wild coastal landscape with heathlands, dunes, and forests where you can hike for hours seeing more deer than people. Limfjord cuts through northern Jutland, creating this inland sea dotted with islands and fishing communities. Nykøbing Moors is charming base exploring the fjord. Central Jutland around Silkeborg has Denmark's Lake District, with forests and rolling hills perfect for hiking and cycling. HIMMELBJERGET near Silkeborg claims to be Denmark's highest point at 147 meters. Yes, Denmark is flat, but the view across lakes and forests from the tower is lovely. Eastern Jutland coast is gentler with beach towns like Grenaa and Ebeltoft, preserving old merchant character. Målsbjerge National Park has surprisingly hilly terrain for Denmark with coastal heaths and Bronze Age burial mounds. Jutland rewards slow travel and exploration beyond major sites. Rent a car and just drive. LØKKEN is West Coast beach town that's managed to stay charming despite summer crowds, with white fishing huts lined up on beach creating iconic Danish coastal image. The town was originally fishing village and some fishermen still launch boats from beach. You can buy fresh fish directly from boats when they return. The beach itself stretches for kilometers, perfect for long walks collecting amber after storms, or just watching North Sea waves roll in. LØKKEN has traditional seaside town energy with ice cream shops, galleries selling local art, and unpretentious restaurants serving fish and chips. The bunkers from Untitled German Atlantic Wall defense line dot the beach and dunes, slowly being revealed and buried by shifting sands, creating eerie historical layer. North of town, the beaches become wilder with fewer people and more dramatic dune landscapes perfect for escaping crowds. Visit during shoulder season, May or September, when weather is decent but summer masses haven't arrived or have left. The town gets packed July-August when Danish families flock here, but that busy energy is part of its charm, showing how Danes actually vacation. Stay at one of the old beach hotels for full nostalgic experience. Combine LØKKEN with visiting RUBJERG KNUDE Lighthouse 15 kilometers north. HELSINGØR is more than just KRONBORG Castle, though. That's obviously the main draw. This is real working town with maritime history stretching back centuries. The medieval quarter around Sankt Olai Church preserves narrow lanes and half-timbered houses, creating atmospheric old town, perfect for wandering. Culture Yard is waterfront cultural center with sharp modern architecture housing library, concert hall, and harbor bath where you can swim in Øresund Strait. Maritime Museum designed by big architects sits in Old Dry Dock at KRONBORG, with exhibitions about Denmark's naval history presented in innovative ways using the dock space itself. You can see Sweden across the strait, just 4 kilometers separating countries here, and ferries shuttle between Helsingør and Helsingborg constantly. The town has surprisingly good food scene with restaurants like Søstjernen, serving fresh seafood overlooking the harbor. Walking the harbor area shows Helsingør's working portside, mixing with tourist areas in ways that feel authentic. Train from Copenhagen takes 45 minutes, making Helsingør easy day trip. But staying overnight lets you experience castle and town without day trip crowds. Summer brings harbor festivals and outdoor concerts, adding energy. HIMMELBJERGET. HIMMELBJERGET means sky mountain, which is hilarious because at 147 meters, it's one of Denmark's highest points, showing just how flat this country is. But don't let the modest elevation fool you. The view from the tower across Silkeborg Lakes and surrounding forests is genuinely beautiful, especially autumn when forests turn gold and red. There's something charming about how seriously Denmark takes this hill, with the tower built in 1875 and the whole area protected as nature reserve. The lakes around HIMMELBJERGET, Julsø, and Himmelbjergsøerne are perfect for kayaking or taking historic paddle steamer boats operating since 1800s between Silkeborg and HIMMELBJERGET. Hiking trails network through surrounding Søhøjlandet forest with routes ranging easy lakeside walks to longer forest circuits. The area feels genuinely peaceful with locals picnicking and swimming in lakes during summer. Silkeborg town at northern Lake End is worth exploring for its paper mill turned art center and riverfront cafes. This is Denmark's Lake District. Not dramatic like Norwegian fjords or Swedish Lapland, but gently beautiful in ways that grow on you. Visit late spring when forests are bright green, or autumn for color display. Combined with exploring Jutland's interior rarely seen by international visitors focused on coast. So there you have it. 17 ways to experience Denmark beyond Copenhagen's obvious hits and that overrated Little Mermaid statue. Every recommendation is in the description with tips on timing and getting there, so you can build your Danish adventure that doesn't look like everyone else's. Denmark isn't dramatic like Norway, it's not design perfect like Sweden, but it's got this understated charm and genuine coziness, that hygge everyone talks about, that makes it worth exploring properly. If this gave you ideas for Denmark, smash that subscribe on Passport Unfolded, because we're exploring Europe's most overlooked corners. Drop a comment telling me which Danish spot you're most excited about visiting. Until next time, keep exploring places that require effort to reach, and remember the best travel stories happen when you go where tour buses don't. Now get out there and see the real Denmark.